And action.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our second episode of the Peanut Gallery, our podcast over here at Utopian Peanuts.
The illustrious Utopian
The
Peanuts.
illustrious, vindified.
Verified. I said verified.
Oh, you said verified. Okay. Podcast. Okay. Today we are going to be discussing a couple things. We're going to start off talking about World of Warcraft and where it stands now, and looking to the new expansion coming out in September 21st of 2018. And we'll just talk about like our experience with the game and what we feel about it and what we're looking forward to with the new expansion.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
I will start this off by saying that I was a day one World of Warcraft player. I've been there since the very beginning. I've taken several long breaks, but I've been there since the beginning. I maxed out characters. I raided. I didn't do PvP. Never was a big PvP person, but I did pretty much everything the PvE world had to offer. I am the Horde for the Horde.
You are the Horde.
I am the Horde. I was always the Horde for the Horde. I had one Alliance character, and that was when the Worgen came out. That was the only thing that convinced me to go over to the Alliance, just to try out the Worgen, and I didn't even max him out.
Because then you realize you couldn't really use a mount, so.
Yeah, no, it was really dumb.
Yeah.
I hated that. How they didn't make a mount for the Worgen. They just made you like turn into like
a wolf.
Yeah, it was so dumb. Anyway, Shai, do you want to kind of go over like your background in World of Warcraft?
Sure. I'd always wanted to play it, like especially after I saw Ozzy Osbourne in the ads for Lich King, because that expansion was just so edgy and it was metal as fuck, and I really wanted to play it. But my parents were very staunchly against World of Warcraft, so
Mine too.
But you still got to play it. My introduction was right after Mists of Pandaria, which I know is not a very highly regarded expansion because people thought the pandas were a stupid introduction.
I will be completely honest with you, because I was off World of Warcraft by the time Mists of Pandaria came out. I thought it was a joke. Like I watched like the trailer.
I don't think you're the only one.
And I thought it was a joke. Like pandas, really? I thought it was just like a gag. Like, hey, haha. And then it turned real.
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting take. But considering they do have a race of people that are essentially aliens, I don't think not even anthropomorphic, just sentient pandas are that far-fetched.
Yeah, do you know any of the lore behind it? I didn't know the lore of like who they were.
I really don't.
Yeah, I'm not big on lore of World of Warcraft. It's just weird for how much time I've put into it, but I don't know much about the lore about World of Warcraft.
See, I definitely don't, because, like I said, I was introduced by a friend who I actually had like three of my friends were like, "Hey, let me refer you so that we can quest together," and it was a really tough choice, but I ultimately found a friend that I knew would be on consistently and had a good guild behind him. So he referred me, and we just power leveled all the way to max. And so the lore, everything just flew right by. I had no clue what was going on.
Yeah.
I'd known some basics because one of my other friends, he was another day one player, an acquaintance now, I guess. He was a day one player, and he was pretty big on the lore, and so he would kind of like walk me through some of the basics of like why the Horde hates the Alliance and vice versa. Some of the basics, but never over any of the Pandaria stuff, because he thought it was stupid. So I mean, I have an interesting experience with it, because I played up through Pandaria into Warlords of Draenor, stopped. I think I got to the garrison and I stopped because I wasn't having it. I was also wanting something different. I've always enjoyed the idea of World of Warcraft, but I like I like the satisfaction of a 1-to-1 control over my character. Like that's one of the reasons I like FPS is because when I click, the gun shoots. I don't have a cooldown or a skill with that.
Right.
And I'm not just sitting there hitting buttons to watch cooldown numbers. I mean, there's an enjoyment to be had in that for sure. I love it. I've come to like it more now, but at the time, it just really wasn't my cup of tea. And so I think that's after that I graduated. I moved on to like Guild Wars 2, where it's definitely a more action-based MMO. I felt like there was more control, kind of like what I saw it as like it was League of Legends versus Smite, where Smite you have direct control of your character. They look where you look. The skills are all, or the attacks are all skill shots. It's not just click a target, hit a number, and wait for the damage, their health bar to just incrementally go down.
And then later in the show, I was wanting to like compare it to other like MMOs, and we can compare and contrast.
I've played most MMOs out.
I've too. I've tried them all, but no, that was my main issue with the lore. And they've done I've noticed, because I just jumped back in, me and you both just jumped in a couple days ago.
I played a shit ton of Legion, I'll say that much. I came back in right before Legion, and I played the shit out of Legion. I loved Legion.
Me jumping in a couple days ago is the first time I've seriously jumped in probably like 6 years. And so one thing that I've noticed is they've done a better job at exposing the lore to the player. I know there's a lot more cutscenes, like scenes where there's a lot of like talking, and it's not just you reading a piece of paper. Because I remember back in like vanilla days, the reason I didn't get engaged with the lore so much was because none of it was really presented to you in a consumer friendly way. Like if you wanted the lore, it was there. Like every quest you got, there was a huge block of text.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
that told you what you were doing and why you were doing and all that. But that was really your only option to get lore, is if you wanted to sit there and read. And after a while, when the quests are just like run over here, kill these 10 guys and come back, after a while you just stop reading those, because you're like, I know what I need to do. I don't really care. And so that's why I didn't really get too engaged with the lore. Again, I got engaged with the gameplay and I loved the game, but to me it was more because both my cousins, it was like kind of like you, both my cousins played it, and they were the ones that got me hyped about it, because I was a big Warcraft 3 player with them, the RTS, and then they were like, you have to get it when this World of Warcraft comes out. And so I got it to play with them, and we kind of did the same thing where we just ran around and pretty much just cranked through stuff.
What a year, 2002. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, has it really been 2000? It wasn't 2002.
It might have been.
Because I was 10. I was in middle.
Look it up.
I was, okay, yeah, because I was in middle school.
You was in middle school?
Yeah, I was in middle school when it came out.
I was just, because one of the UI plugins I use has like an old school text option, and it said 2002.
2004.
Okay.
So I was
not too far off.
I was 12. Yeah, I was 12 because I was like in the 7th grade. I was just starting the 7th grade.
Okay, gotcha.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think my age.
What's my age again?
Yeah, no, but yeah, that sounds about right now. No, so like I got it for them, and I played with them, and then they got off well before I did, and I stuck with it, and then I developed a rather big addiction problem.
So did you see that? You can buy it used on eBay. I imagine it's the box for $500.
I think it's the original box. Oh no, it's original collector's edition box.
That's dope.
I mean,
well, what else? What does it come with?
Can you? It just looks like all the.
It's like a booklet. Like a little guidebook thing too.
Yeah, map. That's cool. I mean, not worth $500.
God no.
But that's really cool.
Oh, I got taller. This pillow added like 2 inches.
Yeah, that seat's not comfortable at all.
It's not.
I'm so sorry for you. We need to get
every
a better
day that
seat.
we record here and we sit here for like 4 to 6 hours. Mm-hmm. My tailbone is bruised for the next like 2 days. It's great.
I'm so sorry, but maybe we can get you a better chair because I'm thinking about getting a better chair for myself because this one's starting to like rip a lot in the back.
It's also really bulky.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what was going through my head when I bought this desk and this chair.
You thought you were going to be really fat. I think that's what it was.
I don't know, but like looking
You
back,
thought your cerebral palsy was going to go the fuck away. You're just going to gain like 200 pounds.
I told you that's been a dream of mine.
Just to like gain 200 pounds.
Yeah, like I know I'll never be strong. Like I made peace with that because of my cerebral palsy. I'll never be strong.
So you want to be fat?
So I want to be fat. I mean,
all right, I respect that ambition.
I mean, it was a dumb one. But I was just like, you know what? I'll never be strong, but I bet I can be
don't
fat.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Yeah. It hasn't worked so far.
Yesterday, you said today.
What an idiot. No,
I think he's a genius.
You can see it's going really well.
Yeah, obviously.
Like my doctor wants me to gain 5 pounds. He's like, I'm in like that danger zone.
Yeah.
Like anorexia.
Oh, nice. Good.
No, it's ironic that like it's not like non-purposeful anorexia. Yeah. Like I'm trying to gain weight.
I was just about to say, it's like exactly what you need on your plate is an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but so I need to gain 5 pounds. I eat Taco Bell like 4 times a week.
Do canes.
I do cane sometimes.
But although chicken adds on a good bit of weight.
Yeah, protein. But you know what?
But it's easily burned is another
I
issue.
still love cane sauce. I still love their fries, but like their chicken right now.
That's why you dip it in the sauce. You lather it in the sauce.
I do.
You don't pay attention to it.
It's just I don't like it. Like you know what I want? I want Chicken Express chicken with cane sauce.
You can do that. You know you can make cane sauce at home.
What is it?
Ranch, mayonnaise, pepper, ketchup. Fuck.
Or what I could do is just go to Cane's and buy like a pint.
Yeah, you definitely could do that too.
Yeah. Because you know me and cooking or anything in the kitchen, I'm usually not for.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we're...
I mean, this all goes fast food and World of Warcraft. Like last night when we were playing, I was eating pizza and I had what did I have? I had pizza on one hand, anime on one screen, World of Warcraft on the other, and I went to my girlfriend. I was like, all I need is some Mountain Dew and like 200 pounds more, and I would be the most stereotypical World of Warcraft player. So I mean, they're linked, not necessarily by this discussion, but in what are you looking at?
The movie, what was that movie, the documentary they made about World of Warcraft?
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, Second Skin. Okay.
I thought you were looking up like an XXX version of Second Life.
No. Because I was thinking, and I'm just going to cut this all together into something tangible. I
mean, this is fine.
But no, Second Skin was really the documentary that opened my eyes. I mean, I still was playing during Second Skin and after it came out, but... If you haven't seen it, it's great. It's just these documentary filmmakers follow like I want to say it's like four like World of Warcraft players or 4 groups, if you will, and it just like it goes to like the very extreme. Like one of the groups is like his wife was having like a baby, but he didn't go because he was raiding. But the thing is that the wife was okay with it and approved because the wife was in the guild too, and she thought the raid was more important. It's a great movie. I would watch it.
I'm not gonna bash them on their own priorities.
Because it's a mutual decision. When it's a mutual decision, I'm like, okay, I don't agree with you, but at least you agree.
It's not. It wasn't a one-sided decision.
Yeah, I don't agree with that thinking, but yeah, at least you both agreed to that. And then it follows a couple that met on World of Warcraft and like follows a meeting for the first time and kind of that side.
That's amazing.
That kind of side of World of Warcraft,
you ever see that one clip of I forget what it's called, like Virgins? There's that show on VH1 or something, or what is it? Oh, the one that
is that the one you and Casey were watching not too long ago? I think,
and like they're kissing, and they're like, the turtle. I imagine it was kind of like that, the turtle kissing. I'll send you a link to Virgin Diaries or something. No, not Virgin Diaries. I'll send you a link, and you can put in a little video clip if you want.
Okay.
I imagine it was as much of a gold a source of gold as that clip was from that show.
Yeah, no, but it's a great movie. I recommend you watch it.
Yeah, no, I'm interested now for sure.
I recommend it. And it comes out right about the time the Burning Crusade comes out.
I thought it was Lich that came out in 08. I thought you just found that out.
2007. No, it followed the Burning Crusade.
Okay.
But it was filmed in 2007. It came out in 2008.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Wrath was 2008.
No, but it kind of follows, and oh god, these guys were playing like for 48 hours. I'm not going to go into every detail of the movie because that would take too long. But if you haven't seen it, anyone watching, I would definitely recommend seeing it. It's definitely interesting. But that kind of opened my eyes, and ironically, at the time, it kind of wanted me to play more. Mm-hmm. Because I felt like more like, one, I wasn't so bad, and two,
it put your playing into perspective,
right? And two, it was like, oh, this is like a really cool community. Like people really care.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah. way too much. But they care.
Although I think that Die Hard has kind of died down some. I mean, the guy we met last night, and I won't mention his name in here. One, because I don't remember it, and two, I don't want to. But guy,
our sugar daddy.
Yeah, our sugar daddy. We were playing.
Let's save that for later because we're getting off topic. But you're talking about not that whole discussion, but like that particular, like what happened last night.
Okay, yeah, we can save that for later. Yeah. There's been a steady decline since I want to say Lich King player base. I wanted to say at their height they were at like 17 million, but let me look that up.
I remember seeing the advertisements that were like 16 million players in counting.
Oh yeah, no,
and like those were actual subscribers. Those weren't just because I think that was around the time they're doing the level 20 trial as well, which that's hilariously low level. For a trial of World of Warcraft at 20, you don't even have all your abilities at 20.
One thing that World of Warcraft always had, in my opinion, was a good grinding system. Getting to whatever the max level was at that time was fun. I know maybe people would disagree with me, but to me that was always a fun experience. I think the end game is what suffered. Just kind of what's going on in Destiny 2 right now.
Gotcha.
Is because when you have a solid base like that, where you make the leveling system fun and engageable, is that
drip
word?
feed of skills and loot.
And also, I think it was become oversimplified. That was my big complaint. I mean, you know me, the old grandpa of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it's annoying.
My main complaint is that it's oversimplified now as far as like one questing. It tells you exactly where to go. It even makes a circle for you where you need to go and what you need to do there. There's dungeon finders now. There's just like Destiny 2 and Bungie, they're trying to appeal towards the more casual audience. Is because the casual audience doesn't want to sit there and spend hours going over their skill tree. I mean, because they used to have I used to have like a skill tree generator like outside the game where I would test out certain builds because it was so complicated. And so I would sit there and just test out different builds of skill trees. And now, of course, you have 3 specialties, you'd say, and you can choose between any one of those at any time. And then once you choose one of those, it's a set spell list for the most part, and then you get one skill tree add-on every 15 levels. Is it 15 levels?
For like talents?
Yeah.
I believe it's 15.
I think it's every 15 levels. You get like a choice of 3.
Yeah.
And I think that's what turned off a lot of the hardcore players.
You'd had that for a while, though. Like Lich had that, the talent tree.
Did Lich have it?
Not like you choose between the 3, but you could really only choose between 2 or something at a time.
You might be right.
They had talent points, and it was definitely more branching because there were Yeah, there was the 3, and you had like 2 to start out with, and it would branch into like a 2 or 3. It was more complex. Yes.
I guess I don't really, because I'm still thinking.
And also, Dungeon Finder came out in Lich. It was,
that is right. No, I knew.
It was the patch after the fall of Lich King, but it was 2009, so it was pretty soon
I
after.
remember when the Dungeon Finder came out. Yeah, no, that I'm more talking about like the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I told you this story last time, but I even had the atlas, like the physical atlas with the maps, because I would sit there and figure out. I know it was more of a gimmick, like.
Oh, for sure.
I get it.
Just to make you feel like you are.
You didn't need the atlas, but
yeah.
my uncle, like, one year, he, like, took me to GameStop for my birthday and let me pick out any gift I wanted. And I had no idea what I wanted. I saw that sitting there. I'm like, sure.
Almost like I don't need the Hyrule Historia, but I feel awesome when I'm going through the Zelda game and I'm like, oh, I remember reading about the lore behind this. Except it stopped at Skyward Sword, so they need to revamp like a new edition.
Yeah.
They might have a new edition, I don't know.
Expansion Pal Azeroth, which we said comes out in September of 2018. That's going to be like their next step. To hopefully capitalize on their growth and keep it going. There's not a whole lot known right now. What we do know is there's going to be some more races and then variation of races. 2 of the new races are going to be the Void Elf and the Nightborn. Void Elf is going to be for the Alliance, and Nightborn is going to be for the Horde. But also, what they're going to do is kind of switch it up. Where, like, right now, I think it's just Torn can now be for either the Alliance or the Horde, and same with Draenei. I think the Draenei can now switch back and forth.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, and so that's what's happening so far as the races go. Obviously, you're going to have
new territories.
The Alliance is getting Kultiras.
Kultiras. You have to say it. You have to say it cool. Remember, this is high fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool.
She's got a really sick ponytail.
Which, looking at screenshots, I'll put up in post so you guys can see. This one kind of looks like Venice.
Yeah, like kind of reminds me of Morrowind, one of the first cities you go there, whose name I forget. Yeah. Go through another one? Ooh.
I think that's one of the raids.
I think you're one of the raids.
Thank you. And then this guy.
And a midget.
Yeah, but the one I'm most excited about, not just because I'm a Horde player, but is Zandalar.
I think it's definitely more aesthetically enticing.
Yeah, the new Horde continent, because maybe it's just me loving Aztecs and Mayans.
Yeah.
But I'm going to put these up in post. But just the atmosphere of this continent just looks so cool.
Yeah, the environment art is very interesting.
I cannot wait to explore this.
Welcome to the world of Shamsha.
You are cut a slate.
I'm definitely excited to be more of a Horde player.
And again, I don't know what it is with, maybe, again, my opinion, but to me, the Horde has always had
cooler shit?
Yes. Every time. Every time.
It doesn't help that they have the look of the bad guys, even though they're not. So I think that definitely has some appeal to it, for sure. I mean, the other Kultiras, whatever, looks pretty nifty as well. Because, I mean, that city looked pretty cool to explore, and I'd love to see the different, because the screenshots we saw showed pretty different biomes. There's that city one, then like mountainous, kind of arid, and then lush, plain, evergreen field, that kind of shit. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see that, but I'm definitely more drawn to the ancient civilization aspect.
Yeah, no, I'm too.
And I don't. It's not on the feature thing, but I know that there's going to be a new resource. I think it's Azurite something. There's going to be a new resource that you can use to upgrade, I think, aesthetically as well as statistically, your gear aesthetically as well as statistically.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that factors in. I just read a small blurb about it. But I mean, that's kind of interesting.
Okay. And then next up we have, it's just called Plunder Uncharted Island. And from what we can read so far, it kind of looks like a PvP, PvE type event where it's 3 versus 3 trying to take over this island and plunder it.
So it's like Sorry.
No, go ahead.
From reading just this, I mean, again, we can definitely find probably more in-depth stuff on the subreddit or, some random theorized article that has no bearing whatsoever.
This is coming directly from
the Blizzard site.
Yeah.
But it kind of sounds like a Sea of Thieves kind of thing. There's islands you go to, you can get the loot, and you have to kill other people that try and take it from you.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That sounds really cool.
It looks very interesting. I'm interested to see if we can actually steer our ships this time.
Yeah.
Like where we can actually take control and they're not just like a...
It'd be kind of hard to implement in
it
Warcraft
would,
style.
but it's right now they're kind of just an over-glorified mount that you can't control. And it would be interesting to see if they finally let us take control of that mount.
I'd be 100% okay with that. In fact,
And
I'd prefer it.
of course, there is going to be more PvP. Again, I never was a big PvP person in World of Warcraft. I mean, I played it some.
That's a PvE ability.
But Storm and Warfront?
Yeah. You make your last stand in this new PvE mode inspired by classic Warcraft RTS battles.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's just a big RTS kind of thing.
That's cool. Okay, we'll scratch that. New RTS style called Storm the Warfront. Or at least that's what they're calling it now.
So I wonder if it's going to be, if there's going to be any PvP. It says PvE though, but it sounds like something like in Guild Wars you have world versus world.
Yeah.
And then at least for a while, I don't know how it is now, I haven't played it in a minute. Elder Scrolls Online, you had faction wars, kind of like that, where you hold certain territories and the race or the faction with the most territories gets a certain bonus for a period of time, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see if it's just like that or if it actually is just PvE.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it says PvE, so I'm going to take that at face value for right now.
And is this what you were talking about? Titanic Might?
Was it? Yeah.
Take control of the heart of Azeroth, a legendary neck piece.
Azurite. I was right. Except I was thinking Azurite, like A-Z-U-R.
Okay, so you're right. New type of material element type thing to make your armor and itself cooler. And of course, new level cap, 120. New dungeon and raids.
So this will be almost coming full circle for you, because you'll be, if you play this, you'll be at 120, which is twice the original level cap.
No, 60. And I remember, I don't want to be like...
Getting from like 59 to 60?
Oh, it was a nightmare.
I wouldn't know that, but I know the worst period of any MMO is that last level before cap, because it takes for fucking ever.
Well, just the whole 1 through 60 was just so much longer. Again, that might just be me looking back on it, feeling, but to me...
A little bit of rose tint there.
Yeah, to me, it took so much longer to level up.
Well, I don't doubt that it did.
Because I think it took me like a couple months to get my first max.
Wow.
Maybe a month. Maybe again. It was. I was in 7th grade, so I don't know the exact numbers, but I remember because like what we're playing now, we'll hit max.
If we played as
much
hard
as
we've been playing,
yeah.
It'll be like next week.
Yeah, a couple weeks we'll hit max.
I think if we consistently played every day,
for
the amount we have been, it'll be next week. Not even a couple weeks, just next week.
The moment you get home, we're getting back on.
Yeah, I haven't had a want to play an MMO like this in a minute.
Yeah, and now you got me my new keyboard. I'm so excited. Remind me, you need to help me with the UI before you leave.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so now I kind of want to move on where we kind of compare World of Warcraft, because World of Warcraft is still the standard. Regardless of like its drops or what its fluctuations, it is still considered as standard for every MMO.
Every MMO has taken stuff that it has brought to the table and implemented it.
Yeah.
Even with their own spin, it's the same ideas and concepts. Which, granted, those are their basic psychological concepts. It's the progression as well as accomplishment and satisfaction through. Overcoming challenges, that kind of stuff. I mean, it would be, if World of Warcraft hadn't done it, then another MMO would have come along and done it. But
Well, that's my thing. Is I don't want World of Warcraft deserves a lot of credit, but these concepts have been around forever.
Yeah. There's a lot. Even some single player games had these kinds of things, and they just kind of mashed it all together.
They did it well.
They did.
That's what I'm saying. They deserve credit. But these concepts had been around for a very long time before World of Warcraft came in. Tried every MMO under the sun, and World of Warcraft is the only one that's kept me coming back over and over again. I mean, I did Lord of the Rings, I did Guild Wars, I did EverQuest, I did.
I never did EverQuest.
It was all right.
I couldn't bring myself to.
That's another game that has a really big base community. Not as big as World of Warcraft, but they've
got a strong base.
Yeah, it's a diehard base. It's a very diehard base, and I think that's what's happening with Lord of the Rings Online right now. Is why Lord of the Rings Online's not dying.
It's because they have enough.
They have enough
strong people there. Yeah,
and I think they're okay with that. I think they're okay with just appealing. Same with EverQuest, because EverQuest is still going, isn't it?
Yeah, it's still going. It's on Steam.
Yeah, so I think they're fine. Which
not that means that it's still going, but like it has, you can launch it off of Steam.
Okay. See, I think they're okay with just their base because they know it's Die Hard and they know they'll never leave. They don't need to impress them anymore.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, but I never got into EverQuest. I played for maybe like a month. And again, I just went right back to World of Warcraft.
See, I ended up playing a lot more of the not as big MMOs simply because I was looking for something
unique.
More, unique. There was one I played for a while. It was like Moon something, but it was like
I think I know what you're talking about.
It was a rated M MMO, and it was ultra violent. Like it was needlessly violent. It was so unnecessary, but it was great. Like there's this one big dude you could be that had these fists that had blades on them, and whenever you killed something, they just exploded into 5 million pieces, and there was blood everywhere. And that one I played for a good bit. Like,
was it kind of like a
7-8 months
ish? Like,
yeah, it was a high fantasy game, but it's trying to be dark and edgy a little bit. So, I mean, that one was cool. I don't remember what it was called. And then I played Runes of Magic for a bit, which was exactly World of Warcraft. It was just a clone. There's nothing special to it. I played Rift for a good bit. Rift was fun.
I tried Rift.
But again, it was World of Warcraft. Just not as good, in my opinion. But I think the one for me that rivaled World of Warcraft was a 2D Korean anime MMO called Le Tale. And I don't know why. I just absolutely loved that game.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
It's like MapleStory, but
would you consider MapleStory an MMO?
Yeah, it's definitely an MMO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like MapleStory, except the people weren't tiny like chibi characters. They were more fleshed out characters, and some of the classes they had were really cool. Like my favorite was Engineer, which at the first job change is what they called it. Was that 60? Yeah, 60. And then you become a Meister, and you get a small mech, and then at 120 you can be, I think at 120 it was an Engistar, and you have a full-on Gundam. Like you have a mecha. It was fucking wild. I loved that shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, I don't even think I've heard of that one before.
Yeah, it wasn't very well known, but I played it. It was the longest MMO, or the most I'd played in MMO. I played it from 7th grade up until Guild Wars 2. Like up until senior year of high school. I played the shit out of it. Got to the point where like I was playing on private servers as well as the main server with a friend. And it was kind of like my World of Warcraft. I wasn't as addicted to it as some, but it was the one that I kept coming back to, and it was the standard that I had set because I found a lot of enjoyment in the game's grind, in its systems, and like the weird dungeons it had. It was very simple. It was fun, and it was repetitive enough without being stupidly mundane.
Okay.
But again, none of these I would say are anything close to WoW killers.
Yeah, no. I even went back in the day. I went looked up free MMOs and downloaded a couple of those really shitty ones.
MMO Hut was like one of the best websites ever.
Yeah, I downloaded a bunch of those shitty ones that were just awful. But
did you ever try Anarchy Online?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Perfect World Online too. That was a pretty fun one.
I did that one too. Did you ever do Second Life?
Yes. I not for long because this was elementary school, like 6th grade.
Yeah, I didn't find the appeal in it.
No.
Like again, it's one of those games that has like a really strong base, but I never really got it. Like I didn't get the. I mean, to each his own, but I didn't get the appeal. EVE Online is another big one.
Yeah,
I feel that one has a lot of money sunk
it does.
into it, like a lot.
I am so intrigued by the world of EVE Online, and I've wanted. It's a game.
I'm afraid to get into it. Like
that's
so
the
afraid
thing.
to
It's
get
a game
into
for
it.
me, not unlike World of Warcraft, that I love the idea of. I mean, now I love World of Warcraft a lot more than just the idea. I'm starting to really enjoy the execution of it in the past 2 years or so. But EVE Online, I love the idea. It's a hard sci-fi game, and I love sci-fi and space and ships and but it's such a time sink, and even with that time sink,
I think time and money, right? Because you have to invest a lot of money in order
you
to
don't
be able.
have to. You can,
But in order to compete competitively, I feel
again,
like
you don't have to, but you can if you run things efficiently enough, and if you're a person that likes spreadsheets, that's the way that I've seen and heard it described as Microsoft Excel the game, because it is. You can essentially amass what would be the equivalent of money in the game, as in like the value of what you have done, like the ships you have, like what it would cost almost, or what it has cost some people. In real money.
What was that? What was that battle? It was on Reddit. It was on
2 years ago?
No, it was recently.
No, there's going to be one recently.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
Not yet.
Yeah, but I think it was like a $5 million battle.
I think that was like over a year ago.
I knew there was one that happened a year ago, but I remember there one being like one just recently, maybe like a couple months ago.
Just type battle or war.
January 24th, 2018.
Well, that's when the thing was published. Oh.
Yeah, no, it just happened.
It's still, I don't think that's that big of a battle for that.
Last night's massive engagement in EVE Online was built in the game's first $1 million battle.
Oh, that is the first one. Okay.
When the smoke cleared, it came a little bit short, about $996,000 short. Oh, short. I was like, that's what it made. Which someone I'll have to find the Reddit thread later, but they made a Reddit thread, and someone posted like, this is kind of how EVE Online works, is like these huge conglomerate players.
Oh, so it wasn't anything close to the biggest battle.
No,
okay.
$4,000. But it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be $1 million battle. But but anyway, this Reddit guy kind of explained how EVE Online works. It was like, it's these guys that like talk a big game, but when it comes down to it, they don't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. Like they said that these guys, whoever they are, will like amass. They're like, again, I don't really understand the game, but they'll amass like their massive like ship army or whatever that costs a lot of money, and they'll just. And they'll just like stand there for like hours and like just taunt each other, and then they'll find some excuse not to do it and then dissipate. And that's it. That's usually how these big battles go. Is because I think everyone's afraid, because again, if it's truly $1 million battle and these sides are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth.
I mean, they're not. Well, I don't think they're actually losing that money. They're losing the in-game equivalent converted.
Well, it's value, but still, it's still, if you spend that much time on there and you have like $500,000 worth of ships, even if that's like fake, like that's not actual currency, that's still, you don't really want to just throw that away. I mean,
sure. Well, I would say fuck it for the entertainment of a giant space battle. Hell yeah, throw that away. It doesn't matter. I mean, there was a couple months back, last summer, one of the most expensive and biggest military outposts that people can make and buy was completely overturned by one dude, because he was so high up in one of the factions that they just kind of gave him control, and then he was like, ha! this other faction paid me a lot of fucking money to give it to them. So joke's on you. Your shit's gone. It's ours now.
Yeah.
It was huge. It was a big thing that happened. See, that's one of the things I love is Polygon, Kotaku, even Rock Paper Shotgun, they all report on these events that happen in this game, and it makes it seem so interesting. Yeah. And then that one trailer I sent you, after I watched it, I was like, oh, I want to play this game. I want to play it so bad. But then I realized I would have to play 200 hours easily, minimum, to get to the point to where I would be doing these things that people in the trailer were doing.
Yeah, no, you really, at this point, you really need to invest a lot of time if you want to get into it. And I don't have the need. I mean,
I was about to say I don't have the time, but that's complete bullshit. I meant I don't want to spend that time in that game.
Yeah, no. Because is it free to play and then you have the choice, or is it subscription based?
It's subscription.
It's subscription.
There's a trial version, but it's subscription.
Okay.
I believe the last time I tried to play it, it was subscription. Okay. I think Eve might be the biggest contender player wise.
Yeah. I
would imagine so. I don't know the numbers, but I would imagine so.
I'll look them up both. It
looks so cool.
It's just these screenshots.
People need to make more large-scale, hard sci-fi games.
What was that game that you won?
Stellaris?
The Stellaris, yeah, the game you won.
But even so, that doesn't scratch my itch. Not completely.
Yeah.
I want like a version like Endless Space 2 mixed with Stellaris mixed with X, that series like X Rebirth, X4 mixed with a little bit of hard realism, because one of my biggest things is ships in space wouldn't explode. They would just kind of like implode and there'd be debris just kind of like floating there. And I want to see a hard realism of that. So like a little bit of space engineers as well.
Okay. I don't think you're going to find that.
No.
I don't think you're ever going to find
it. There's a game in early access. I forget what it's called, but it's kind of like that-ish. But you have a crew of players, and you can fly ships around space, and you can find like derelict ships. And it's the kind of game where you have to put on a suit, wait for the airlock to decompress, and then leave. And you can't like spawn back on the ship, I don't think, anyway. But it's kind of in the vein of all that, but it definitely wouldn't scratch all those itches, because they are many. They are legion.
All right, we're going about an hour. Do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Well, thanks everyone for listening to our second episode. Thanks for sticking with us with our tangents about the game we love. We have some links down below for you: Twitter, Patreon, Instagram.
All right, I did make us an Instagram.
Yeah, I got the email.
Nice.
We would appreciate if you click those, take a look, maybe subscribe to those, subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment, tell us what we're doing wrong and how it can be better, or just put your opinions of World of Warcraft in the comments.
Smash that dislike button, hit the unsubscribe, delete our account, wipe us from the face of the earth. Thank you so much.
And remember, spend all your money on EVE Online. We will see you next week with another episode, and thank you for listening.